In a recent interview, Rich Lambert talked about how he wants to focus on communicating with potential fans. He said he feels like that the Elder Scrolls Online has flown under the radar pretty much the entire 11 years that it has been out. He said he has had countless interviews over the years where he's talking about ESO, and the people that are interviewing him ask him when the game is going to release. And he said, of course, at the time, the game had already been out for years. And he says this has happened several times. So it seems like he's trying to focus on getting more publicity for the game out there, getting people into the game that don't even really know about the game. He said it's not only about keeping the fans that you have, but also communicating with those new potential fans. He says in the past, the team has pretty much just kind of kept their head down, done their work, not really talked a lot about, what they've done in the game, talked about their accomplishments. And it is kind of true. When I look back at it, they don't really do a lot. I mean, they do some things on Twitch where the devs will stream stuff, for new updates. And you will see a few of them here or there, maybe on social media talking. But a lot of other development teams, you won't only just see the community managers in the forums. You will see the developers. You will also see a lot of developers have weekly or bi-weekly kind of podcast where they just talk about the game in general, talk about things they're going to do for the game. Going forward. And this kind of gets, of course, the community to know all of those developers, and also it gets a lot of publicity for the game. When you see those kind of things, people that are interested in gaming will watch that stuff, maybe even if it's not a game that they particularly are interested in playing or they're playing at the time, and that could hook them and they actually go, oh, you know what, I want to go buy ESO and try it out. And I think that's really what he's looking at doing here. He says, some of that is going to have to change. He says our communication style is going to change going forward, and maybe that will help out with some of these things. So they're really focusing, like I've said in several videos lately, on communication. It seems like they're wanting to communicate a lot with the players they have already about what's going on in the game right now, but it seems like they're also wanting to communicate with players that maybe aren't fans of ESO. Maybe they play some other Elder Scrolls games. Maybe they don't even play the Elder Scrolls whatsoever. Maybe they're playing Minecraft or, League of Legends, World of Warcraft, whatever. They may not even know about ESO. So they're trying to make sure that they're focusing on communicating with those people as well to get them to come into the game. And that's always a good idea. The more people you have playing, of course, the more money you make. And then, of course, the more content that you can create, things you can do. And I'm going to be curious to see how they do this going forward. I think it's definitely something they're going to try to focus on publicity-wise. They're going to try to, get a lot of things out there about the game. Even though it's 11 years old, they're wanting this game to last 30 years now, they're saying. So they're definitely going to have to try to go out there and get players that have never really heard of ESO or have never really even thought about playing ESO and try to get them into the game and see if they can get them hooked. And that's not going to work for everyone. But if you get, of course, 100 people playing that have never played before and 25 or 30 of them stay, and you do that very often, you're going to have a good new community inside of ESO, over a period of time. It's going to be interesting also to me to see what they do communication-wise with the existing player base that they have. There's a lot of talk about changes for PvE, PvP, and there's a lot of people out there that want different stuff. And, of course, we all know everything we want for a game is never going to happen. But there's a lot of things that I think ZOS can definitely meet the community on, kind of in the middle. I think there's a lot of things they could change that would make the community happy. Even if every single thing does not get done in the next couple of years, I think a lot of these things can be worked on, or at least they can talk about how they're working on them for the future. If they have an idea of stuff they want to do, I wish they would kind of just start dropping some hints. They don't have to give us all the details, but just say, hey, we're working on X, Y, and Z. It's going to be something that we're going to do in the game. It may not be for years before it happens, but we are focusing on that. I think the community would like that a lot. Also, like I said, having some different podcasts and doing them more often than they do, except, with different maybe developers inside of those, podcasts and interviews and stuff like that. I think the developers getting out there and talking about the game more than they do right now will also help it out a lot. But just having your stream or your live stream when you're doing just an update, I don't think that's going to be enough. I think that's definitely going to have to change going forward. It seems like that's definitely Rich's job now. He has moved up in the position that he used to have inside of ESO, and now instead of being really the game director and just working on the game itself, he's handling pretty much the entire team and having to work on a lot of stuff kind of from the outside looking in. And of course, when you change positions and you take a different job inside that company you've worked in for a long time, you might see some things that you didn't see before. So he's definitely noticing that the communication is lacking in some areas, and I think that is a good thing. He's definitely kind of picked up on that quickly, it seems like, and it looks like he's trying to get communication just within the team in general a lot better than it is right now. So we'll have to wait and see how this new communication works with the potential fans that they don't have yet, and also the existing ones they already do. Leave me a comment with your thoughts, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace.